Hey folks, what is up? Didn't think I forgot about this, did you? Well, maybe you did. But here we go. This is the off season now after season one of my Notre Dame Dynasty at Ncaa 14, where we won the Natty. Had a season full of close calls, but we got it done. And as you can see here, I am in the all season now, the first stage of the all season. And this is one of the coolest things that you will find in any sports video game, the coaching carousel, where every off season, coaches' contracts expire. Either head coaches, defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators, coaches retire, and you have a lot of movement. Like scrolling through the screen here, Gus Malzahn got fired at Auburn. Bill Snyder retired, and my offensive coordinator Mike Sanford got hired at South Carolina to replace Bill Muschamp. Sonny Dice got fired for Cal and from Cal, and they hired Nick Holt, the DC at Western Kentucky. And it's not just window dressing. What happens is that they'll bring the playbooks of the team that they left, so it can really change the face of your conference potentially. You have in real life a conference like the Big 12, which is so dominated by the spread no huddle, and they get a reputation for that. The Big Ten, you have two dominant coaching personalities. It really makes the all season much more engaging. Jeff Brom is now at Auburn. Tom Herman is at NC State, and Brett Venables goes from Clemson as the DC. He's now going to be the head coach at K-State. And Gus Malzahn is going to catch on as the OC at Ohio State. I really like it. Of course, I'm staying with my Fighting Irish. I have to replace my offensive coordinator. I end up plucking Wisconsin's, and it's a bit of an upgrade as he has much better coaching traits than Mike Sanford. That's the disadvantage of starting out, scratch. You have to earn all of the coaching traits as you go along and win games and meet statistical goals and whatnot. So, yeah, you see there, Jeremy Pruitt leaves Alabama to take the head coaching gig at Boston College. This needs to be in the Madden game for your CFM guys, your offline CFM guys. What happens at the end of every not NBA, NFL regular season? You have Black Monday, where coaches on the hot seat around the league get the axe, and their coaching staff is left scattering in the wind as well. That'll be a wonderful thing to add to the Madden offline franchise mode. So here you go. You can see some of the movement, and we'll see how it plays out going into next season and beyond. Here we move on to who's leaving. We have Torian Folson, who wants to make the bolt to the NFL, projected to be a seventh round pick. Such disrespect. So it shouldn't be too hard to persuade him to come back. I like to have that Torian Folston, Josh Adams 1-2 punch in the backfield one more time. And we have a couple of people who want to transfer. And, as I suspected, the persuasion chance is very high. He had a big time season, so, it shouldn't take too much to bring him back. Some of these promises are kind of weird. Like, why would you promise a guy that, hey, if you come back, I'll make you a third round draft pick? Whoop-de-damn-do. That's kind of weird, but hey, whatever. The less severe promise I can get away with making, and it's easiest to keep, the better. So we'll give that. Which one do I choose here? I think I do go the third round draft pick route. No, I went first round, so yeah, whatever. We'll have to feed him the rock to get his draft stock up, I guess. We have a couple of guys transferring. Jalen Elliott, he transferred, not transferred, but he redshirted as a freshman. He wants to transfer to Marshall, and he's actually, given my depth chart, is probably going to play in one of the safety spots in the 3-3-5 stack. So we want to keep him. Liam Eichenberg, another redshirt freshman. We're loaded on the offensive line, so we can afford to let him walk. I mean, he's not going to play for a little bit, so that won't be a very big loss, and his persuasion chance is pretty low anyway, so go ahead and go to Temple. Knock yourself out. Cole Luke, James on Walu, Isaac Rochelle, big losses there, especially on Walu and Rochelle. You remember how big they played for me last season. Avery Sebastian and Jaron Jones leave as well. I'm still going to give a stab at it, but I doubt anything will come of this. Yeah, he's not going to want to come back, so forget about him. Now, Mr. Jalen here, Jalen Elliott, we can probably get him to come back. He'll play in one of the 6 games. It's a certainty. If he plays, he's more than likely going to be playing at one of the 2 strong safety spots. So he has a chance to get some stats, and we end up being able to keep him. Now, incoming, we have Jerome Baker an outside backer who looking to transfer from Ohio State. As a true sophomore, didn't really play a whole heck of a lot. He's got 87 speed with 83 tackling. He's got 70 zone coverage, 81 play rec. This guy's a player. Snipe a redshirt year on him when he sits out in the transfer year, and he could probably be a key piece down the road in a couple of seasons. So we'll definitely welcome him. Welcome to South Bend, Jerome Baker. So we get that done. Next up is our all-season recruiting, and this is how it ended up. We have four-star athlete Joel Anderson. Our recruiting class wasn't that big. I missed out on a couple of guys who I really wanted, namely a receiver and a defensive lineman. But overall, not too dissatisfied with it. Courtney Pace, he's a three-star athlete. Not athlete, but a three-star corner. But when I scouted him, his stats were better than a lot of the four-star ones. Corey Goodman, three-star athlete. Weird player, you'll see that a little bit. Five-star athlete Jimmy Oliver, he's a do-everything type of player. Really good running back stats with some throwing stats. He's going to be interesting to see how he develops. Adam Burke, Drew Allen, four-star tackle, number 2 weighted tackle in the class. And this is a guy who I had to get, David Green. He has a decent chance of starting as a true freshman at the nose. And these are guys who I missed out on. I really wanted Daniel Massey and James Keller, but didn't get them. We ranked number 39 in recruiting rankings. We got 1 5-star, 4 4-stars, and a couple of 5-stars. Those 1-stars are walk-ons. Ignore those. And your top 25 are your usual suspects for the most part, with a couple of surprises here and there. South Carolina checked in at number 10. Michigan was at number 1. Oklahoma, Alabama, Nebraska, USC, LSU. Ole Miss at 7. Whiskey at 8. Tennessee, South Carolina, UCLA, Texas, Ohio State was only number 13. I figured they'd be higher. But your top 25 in the recruiting rankings are pretty much what you would expect. Rutgers at 22. So here we go with our position changes with our athletes that we recruited. Joel Anderson, I don't really want him as a quarterback. I still have Deshaun Kaiser. He came back. Malik Zaire is back as well. Plus I have Brandon Winbush. So quarterback isn't in his immediate future. It might be down the road. Who knows, depending on who I lose and who I recruit. Jimmy Oliver, if we were running the flex bone or had some more Wildcat sets, which we might do, depending on what kind of playbook I want to run. I'm leaning towards Auburn. But he can play running back, he can play some receiver, he can play some QB. Corey Goodman is unique. You very rarely see in this game the offensive line, defensive line dual two-way player. You usually see wide receiver DB, halfback DB, quarterback DB. Occasionally you'll see running back, linebacker, or tight end linebacker. But you don't see offensive line, defensive line very often. He has 78 block shed, but he has no pass rush moves. But he has 81 pass block, 80 run block, and 84 impact blocking. So offensive line for him. And I'm going to put him at center. I like doing center because centers, in my observation with this game, they grow. They have more room to grow in their attributes than guards and tackle. And then when they grow at the center spot, you can position change them to what you need on the offensive line. So after training, Deshaun Kaiser is a complete beast. He's 98 overall now and just a complete monster. Got a little bit faster. His arm is a complete cannon, as you'll see as I scroll over here. And he's just a junior. He's a redshirt junior. This will likely be his last season. He'll most certainly come out. And if he does, my house rule is I don't keep anyone above 90 when they do decide to come out. That's just not very realistic. Malik Zaire didn't transfer. He's a senior. Brandon Winbush is back as well. I was anticipating these two leaving, or one of the two leaving, and then playing Winbush. He's the perfect dual threat QB. But alas, he's stuck behind a 98 and a 92. Maybe Kaiser will get hurt. Who knows? And then Malik Zaire will have to play. But it's a weird situation to have, as you can see. All three of them are all very much usable. Winbush is still a redshirt sophomore, so hopefully he does not bolt. That would really suck if he did. Losing all three quarterbacks in one offseason would be a complete catastrophe. So hopefully he's patient one more season and waits his turn. I mean, even Ian Book doing some work in the offseason. Here's the backs. I mean, Jamal Adams is a complete beast. He actually progressed to be better than Folson, but due to the promise that I made to Folson, I'm still going to start Folson, but Josh Adams will be in the rotation big time as he has 98 acceleration, 88 break tackle, 86 trucking, 86 elusiveness. He's just a monster. That's going to be a, really potent 1-2 punch, which is why I'm leaning towards going towards a Auburn, Ohio State, Oregon type of spread this year. Really make use of these guys and, get them rolling downhill. And Dexter Williams is still sticking around. He's got to wait in line. Chances of him seeing the field a lot, this season are looking pretty slim. The wide receivers, got a bunch of them playing the Baylor spread. You're going to need them. Not all these guys are going to make the final roster, obviously. But you see Equimania St. Brown, he's got much better. Catching up to 97, spec catch up to 83, catching traffic 84. Big improvement in route running, got a little bit more hops, and big improvement in beating press coverage. Torrey Hunter Jr. on the other side as well. And I really like what I got on the slots. I got some intriguing options here if you look at Torrey Hunter, his ratings. But you see Corey Sanders and Corey Holmes, but look at Mr. Miles Boykin. Miles Boykin hardly played at all as a redshirt freshman, but he's in the mix now too. Not the fastest out of them, but he's a pretty well-rounded guy. So he's definitely going to be in the mix to see a nice spike in playing time. He's going to push either Sanders or Holmes down a depth chart a peg. I mean, look at him. He's a bit of a beast, to be honest with you. Corey Holmes will most likely stay at number 3 or number 4. You're not going to say that guy at 95 speed. You're just not going to do it. So, CJ Sanders, might be the odd man out. That'd be a shame, but hey, sometimes you just get beat out. It's going to happen. We're back to being tight end U again. Durham Smythe, Elise Jones had a pretty good season. I didn't really use him all that much with those receivers on the field all the time. He was pretty underutilized. Smythe is more of a blocker, as you'll see as we scroll through the ratings. Jones is more of the receiving threat. You see the catch ratings. He's clearly the better receiver, better route runner, and Smythe is much more of the bulldozing, inline blocking type of tight end. Again, another reason why I want to mix in some more power spread, because he can be used as an H-back. Offensive line is really good. Mike McGlinchey is back. He's just a monster. The line is just loaded. Quentin Nelson, he's a beast as well. Look over at his blocking ratings. Pass block 93, run block 99. Depth is pretty good too. So, we're pretty well set up just for a while on the offensive line, for at least a couple more seasons as far as our depth is concerned. Mustafa, he's a redshirt junior. 90 and 87, 86 impact. Colin McGovern, when the weak link is an 87 overall, you're doing pretty good. You're doing pretty good on the O-line if that's the case. 91 and 85 with 88 impact. And at right tackle, we have a redshirt freshman who's going to be pretty good. At right tackle, we have Alex Bars. A lot of quality and a lot of depth on the O-line. Really, really nice. The defensive line is a bit of a concern. I'm a little bit worried about the defensive line. We lose Isaac Rochelle and Jaron Jones. Jonathan Bonner has to step in along with Khalid Kareem somewhere. One of these two has to do something. At one of the end spots, they're kind of mediocre, the both of them. 81 block shedding. Neither one is a great pass rusher. But as long as they're stout and can somewhat, hold the point of attack, we'll be okay. Okwara has the best block shedding and pass rush moves, but he's not very athletic and he's not very strong. So, yeah, not good. Jay Hayes And Dalen Hayes, however, are pretty good, as well as Trumbetti. Dalen Hayes had a really nice true freshman year. He's up to an 82 overall. Strength is not the best. Jay Hayes is a bit stronger. What I might do, I'll more than likely play one on the left side and the other on the right. Again, it's a 3-3-5 stack, so it's a 3 down lineman set in the base. Dalen Hayes is actually, in a perfect world, suited for a 4-2-5. But, good tackling. Dalen Hayes has 84 finesse move, 82 power move. Not the best block hitter in the world. Like I said, he's more of a 4 down line defensive end. But, you know, sometimes you gotta try to make the best of what you have and use him creatively. I can play him at the outside backer spot in the 3-3-5 split, which is basically a 4-2-5 set. And of course, when I play out of the base nickel sets, he'll be where he should be. So I'm gonna have to mix and match on the defensive line as far as the ends are concerned. Asmar Bilal, he's taking over for James Awalu, and he looks to be up to the task. 86 tackling, he can bring some thump, he's a decent pass rusher, okay on the block shed. He's just a redshirt sophomore, so there's room to grow in that regard. A 77 zone coverage. Greer Martini as well gives us some pretty good depth. He's not as athletic, but he's got good awareness. He's got decent coverage. Miles Morgan is back. I really like my linebackers. I don't understand why this roster set has him so slow, but they make up for it at least by making his awareness high. So now he has a 91 awareness as a senior, and he has some pop on his bat too. He can bring the hit power. You see that big A flashing by his name. That means he's a preseason All-America. 94 tackling, 88 hit power. Can't ask for much more than that. Not much of a blitzer with that. Speed and acceleration, but blush heading is good. Pursuit, play rec, zone coverage is good enough. Tavon Coney, good hybrid player. Nice and fast. He's basically the prototype type of player you want for a base nickel type of defense. As far as the linebacker is concerned, he can do a little bit of everything. Has a lot of pop in his bat with 91 tackling to go with 90 hit power. He's got 81 power move. Decent block shedder, but can play in space as well. He can do a little bit of everything. He can blitz. He can rush the passer. He can drop in coverage. He can play the run. Secondary, we know the corners were a bit of an issue last season, and we'll see how they hold up this season. On paper, they look good. Nick Watkins, 73 catching, 88 jumping, 75 hit power. My goodness. 93 man, 91 zone, 93 press. Sean Crawford, 92 zone and man with 92 press as well. Jeez. Maybe Sean Crawford will be able to cover something this year and I won't have to score 40 points a game to beat people. But yeah, he's gotten better. Depth looks pretty good as well. We've got 93, 92, 92 man, 91, 91, 90, and 93, 92, 92 press in their top three. And we have some pretty good depth developing, behind them. Redshirt freshman Troy Pride Jr., 95 speed. '85 jump, hell of an athlete there, huh? Man coverage 86, zone 85. Dante Vaughn, another true freshman. He's got some thump, my goodness. Got a lot of physical corners. Safeties, Nick Coleman. Nick Coleman, I moved from corner to safety because DJ Morgan was just that bad. As a true freshman, he was horrible back there, and Nick Coleman has better tackling, and of course, as a corner, he's going to have better coverage stats. He's got 92 man and 90 zone. That's a big upgrade there. I just couldn't take DJ Morgan blowing plays out there anymore. I just couldn't tolerate it. Drew Tranquil, the reigning Thorpe Award winner, your prototypical 3-3-5 stack strong safety. He's basically half linebacker, half safety. That's what you want. He's got some pop, can play the run, and has, pretty solid coverage stats. And Mr. Elliott, who we promised a starting spot to, we'll keep our promise. As a redshirt freshman, he looks like he can play well enough to get it done. Not the greatest in the world, but, I think overall he'd be better than Perry and does still. And plus, we have promises to keep, and those things will come back to bite you. You'll lose recruiting points if you don't keep your promises. So, we made it. We got to keep it. But, I think he can hold up. I don't think he'll do that. I don't think he'll be a liability out there. And now we'll look at our kicker, Mr. Justin Yoon. Got a little bit more muscle in his leg. That always comes in handy. And there's our punter, Tyler Newsom. I forgot to show my defensive tackles. We're going to have Joseph Tillery pretty much split in time with a true freshman. But this schedule is a bear. Right off the bat, we have number 10, Vatek. They're always going to be a pain in the behind. Northwestern, Purdue, then number 1, Michigan. Number 17, North Carolina. Syracuse, then at Virginia. Then we have Stanford, at Arizona, at Navy. And we haven't even gotten to USC yet. I mean, this schedule is insane. We got Pitt and USC to close the season. I mean, pain to the behind games all over the place. And here is the preseason coaches poll. Michigan number 1. Your defending national champion Notre Dame Fighting Irish at number 6. Disrespect. Didn't even get a vote. Michigan, Oklahoma, and Ohio State are at top 3. BYU at number 9. Vatek number 10. Miami 11. Look at Iowa. Houston preseason number 18. K-State, Florida, Arkansas, Georgia, Stanford, LSU, and A&M rounded out the top 25 in the preseason. And how about Florida State being unranked to begin the year? Wow. Preseason Heisman race, Deshaun Watson is back, as is Baker Mayfield. Quarterbacks seem to not come out early. It's really weird. And you have Duke Catalone, Curtis Samuel, and Jeremy Nichols. Those are your top Heisman Trophy candidates to begin the year. So, I'll show you the preseason All-America teams, but, that's pretty much your season preview going into year number 2 of my Notre Dame Dynasty. Tough schedule. Offense looks great. Offense looks like it's going to hum along very nicely. Defense has some question marks on the defensive line. Got some weak block shedders there, and a true freshman's going to probably have to play nose tackle. Linebackers look great, and the secondary looks very good. So we'll see how it all plays out. Looks good on paper. We'll see if it looks good on the field. So there you go. Love to hear your guys' thoughts on the roster and the offseason, the schedule, what you're looking forward to seeing, and be sure to tune in for the season opener. Hope you guys enjoyed. I will talk to y'all later. Peace.